I want to say thank you for being a special guest. Tell us something about yourself that we don't know.
Man, I'm Devon Mickey. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C. and came down to go to college at Norfolk State. Behold, I came down in 2000 to pursue a degree in education, emphasis in music, and I just loved it, and I ended up staying here. I am 20 years later, still here.
Love it.
Enjoying the area. I love this laid-back reality as opposed to DC fast-paced, but I enjoy it.
So anything happened in your past that made you want to get into music?
Man, actually, for some reason, I was one of those kids that you could say literally was born in the church. So all my life, all I know was church, and I actually started off on drums like every other kid, you know, and it was about 6 of us waiting to play, and I only got to play the slow songs. I didn't like it. So it was nobody on the organ, so I said, I'm gonna go learn, and lo and behold, by the time I was 6, I was for the youth hour back in Pentecostal church. At youth hour, I played with one finger, lean on me, and then that was then, and here I am, minister of music at the church when I was 13, and the Lord just opened doors and had me travel the country and choirs, singing all across Europe, but He just really opened doors musically.
Wow.
I knew it was a gift when I was a kid.
Absolutely. So let's do this. We're about to jump into the 10 do's and don'ts.
Okay.
And I greatly appreciate you for your voice. But I just want to talk about this one big elephant that's in the room. But you know, a lot of musicians, they get mad at the churches that they're at because the churches are not able to pay what they think that they're worth. What do you say to a person that's in a setting that the church is giving you the max of what they can give financially?
Honestly, all you can do is all you can do. And I think as musicians, it requires a certain level of maturity because it's only so much that you can expect. I don't care how good you are. The greatest musician, if he's worth $1,000, if your budget is $400, then either you're going to take this $400 or you're going to have to find somewhere else.
So when do you know to stand and to walk away?
I think that comes with a personal, evaluation that you have to make, because sometimes as a musician, we know that the business side, you want to try to get the best for the lowest dollar. We know that, but the reality is you have to really pray, be mature enough to say, hey, God, is this a job or this my assignment? Because if it's your assignment, some things you're not going to get monetarily up front. You're going to have to put in the work, because we know that, over time, you're just sowing that seed, and on the back end, you're going to get more than what you can imagine. But however, you just got to be prayerful, be mature about it. And if you do leave the right way, because, I've seen so many people leave for the wrong reasons, and because the money was wrong, they just messed up and tarnished their name. So just, the reality is you just got to pray about it, be mature, and if it's not for you, just respectfully leave.
I love it. Thank you so much for your voice. Listen, this is going to be 10 do's and don'ts you don't want to miss. Tell them how they can follow you on social media.
Listen, if you are social media savvy, follow us on YouTube or Instagram, as well as Facebook at When Tidewater Talks. We also have a platform on those same 3 sites for lessons with Mickey. So if you want to follow piano lessons, or if you know somebody that's interested in lessons, or you just want to watch some of the great musicians in our area and abroad, feel free so much for having me.
Listen, man, thank you so much for being a special guest. What's going on, family? You guys are so amazing. I want to say thank you so much for clicking on this video. Here on this channel, our mission is to empower the world to never give up, one interview at a time, one video at a time. Listen, today's podcast is entitled The 10 Do's and Don'ts for Musicians. I have a very special guest, Minister Mickey. Listen, he's going to bless your life with the 10 do's and 10 don'ts. And watch this, he's going to go in detail, not just the topical, but he's going to go in depth. And I promise you, the 10 do's and don'ts for musicians, it's going to bless your life.
So here you have it. I was able to compile a list of 10 things that I think we should do and 10 things that I think we should not do. First, got to shout out Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Guns, as well as Pastor Cedric Rawson, because they did over a lifetime bless me with 2 points that I'm going to reiterate in my 10 points. Amen. So thank you to pastors. Amen. I feel like I'm in church. So point 1, marry your character with your competence, meaning let your skill and your personality match up. We don't want to come in the door as if we are a $5 million character, and then when you sit down and play or you open your mouth and sing it, people be like, ooh, you sound like a Happy Meal price. So let's try to consider that thing, because it's one thing to be confident, but you want your character and your competence, because people, you get one time to make a first impression. So when you make that impression, it's a life-lasting, long-lasting impression. So make sure that your character matches your competence. Point 2, handle your business now the way you want others to honor it later. I'm gonna say that one more time. Handle your business now the way you want people to honor it later. Meaning, you want to be somewhere 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, a certain plateau that you have in your mind, whether it's recording a record, whether it's teaching in school, whether it's doing whatever it is, but you want to start it now, meaning develop those fundamentals now, those character things that we have issues with, including myself. We need to work on them, whether it's getting business ideas or whether it's whatever it may be. You have time to develop it now. Put in the work now. Put the work in, playing, practicing, teaching, talking, asking questions, searching, researching. Do it all now so that when you get older and you get to where you want to be, you could then demand those things like a certain price, a certain level. Certain benefits come when you put the work in now. So just try to make sure that you handle business now so people can appreciate your business later. Point 3. Remember the 3 P's. I always live by this. I had 3 P's. Be prepared, be prompt, be professional. I'm gonna say it again for the drummers that's coming in now. Be prepared, be professional, and be prompt. Meaning, prepared. Don't show up to an engagement or a church service or a wedding learning music. It's our job as musicians and Levites to be proactive, learn the stuff in advance. Don't let it be seen that the family's coming in and you got earphones in your ears trying to learn the music. That don't look good. Professional. Make sure you carry yourself in the business way. Make sure you, yes sir, look people in the eyes when you're talking to them. Just basic practical principles that I've gained over the years. And dress the part. If it's if they wear suit and tie, then you wear suit and tie. If they wear jeans and t-shirt, then you to whatever it is, you make sure that you are professional. And then lastness, it's just that we are prompt. We have a habit sometimes of getting there right before the nick of time and not even having time to check this or to check your mic line or see if your direct line, your click track, and all that's working. Had we been there early, they say to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. So let's try those three P's. Number 4, utilize your resources. It's so much available nowadays. When I first started off about 27 years ago, we did not have YouTube. Matter of fact, I don't think internet was in nobody's home at that time, but we have so many resources on YouTube. I've literally seen how to learn an entire song note by note just by watching YouTube. And then not only YouTube, you have people, you have your peers, you have people that you look up to and respect that's willing to pour into you. So don't be afraid to utilize your resources. And that's not just with music, that's with all facets of life. Utilize those things that will help you be better in what you do. Point 5. I know I'm gonna make some enemies with this because this don't really have too much to do with music, but I'm gonna say it anyway since I'm here. Giving, I would say, you've tied 10%. I got this from Dr. Guns. You tied 10%, you invest 10%, you save 10%, and you live off the 70. Say that one more time. Tithe 10%, invest 10%, save 10%, and live off the 70. Sometimes today we want to wear our money on our back, or we want to wear our money on our vehicles, or in our lifestyle, in our homes. But at the end of the day, if something was to happen to either one of us, would we have anything in our savings? Would we have invested in any type of stocks or bonds or just things that could help us be a little more financially stable in the future? We don't think about these things right now, but I promise you, when I had that heart attack in 2015 and it landed me in ICUs for 13 days and I was in the rehab for another 30 days, I promise you that bill was $7,000 per day. And that's not including medicines. That's just basically stayed. So had I not had the funds put away, bills didn't stop because I was sick. I was newlywed 4 months in. But the reality is you need to try to tithe 10%, save 10%, invest 10%, and try your best to live off 70. You may not get it right every time, but let that be a goal. Point 6, get your business license and learn the benefits. It wasn't until February this year that I got my business license with Lessons with Mickey. Shameless plug, if you want piano lessons, I'm your man. But I got my business license and I didn't realize how many perks and benefits that you can get as a legitimate business owner. I mean, things you can write off, things you can save, things you can include in your taxes that will help us get more money in return. So get your business license. If you don't know how, ask somebody. If you need help, YouTube, Google, anything you need right now is accessible on the World Wide Net. So it's no excuse for no one not to have their business license, especially because most churches, you know, if you're not full-time, they're going to put you on that 1099, and most of us ain't disciplined enough to pay our taxes. But that's a whole nother conversation. I'm sorry. Let me get back to my do's and don'ts. Point 7, invest in insurance. I was just speaking about this. It's a bad stigma that musicians does not have life insurance, health insurance, auto insurance, and we're not even going to talk about insurance on their instruments. I think sometimes you got to realize what's important. Make the main thing, meaning that your life is important. If something was to happen to you right now, would you have insurance to go to the doctor's office? Would you have, if your wife or your child was to pass, God forbid, would you have money to bury them, or would you have to do what I did years ago and had to start a GoFundMe to bury my mother because I wasn't prepared? Would you get in that car accident driving a UUV illegal, and you get in an accident or get stopped? Would you have insurance? All these things consider before you step out there. Get your insurance. If you got a job that pays insurance and you're a musician, don't leave. Stay there. But consider getting insurance not only on your life and your health and your auto, but on your instruments. We use our instruments. We carry instruments here and there, and you don't realize a little $20, $30 a month can replace, you know, thousands of dollars worth of instruments. So keep that in mind. Get some insurance for everything you have. Point 8, learn the music completely. Hello, lights. Learn the music. Listen, we're guilty. You know, we hear a song that's good in the beginning. We learn a couple of breaks and we slide and glide through it. But the reality is, we know other musicians, when we hear singers that have that ear, they can tell when you really took the time to learn the music, or if you just slide your way through. Listen, they don't pay us to fumble. They don't expect for us to get a check week in and week out and not be prepared. Take the time to learn the music. It's not going to take long. I promise you. If you got a week to learn it, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, knock it out. You got it. Learn the music, y'all. Not just musicians, singers also, because sometimes y'all be fumbling too, but we ain't going to talk about that. Number 9, invest into others. I believe one of the reasons I am blessed, I am the way I am, is because I believe in helping others. You know, the whole concept behind When Tidewater Talks was to pretty much showcase others, was to showcase Virginia and how much wealth of knowledge, musician and skill that we have here. And I think because of that, God opened doors for me to do other things and to have my heart's desires. Why? Because I believe in giving the investment. We gave away organs, we gave away money to breast cancer, we gave away scholarships to school. We did so many things. And I was doing that before I got a business license, before I even really took this seriously. So invest in people. You see that young musician struggling? Don't laugh at them. Don't joke them. Pull them to the side. Hey, bro, I know you thought it was this, but this is what it really is. I know that role that you're trying to do. Hey, if you just do-do-da-da, or whatever y'all say in the drum world, but consider investing into somebody else. My last point on my do's list, take time for yourself. Listen, I know I am one of the busiest people I know, not including my personal life, but just as far as music in the church world. We need to make sure that we take time for ourselves, whether it's a vacation, a staycation, a daycation, any type of vacation you want to do, you need to take it. And you just really realize that sometimes we just need a break from reality, just to have our mind renewed so that we can bring fresh thoughts and fresh ideas to what we're trying to do. You may wonder why you get stuck on that phrase or on that musical situation. You can't get yourself, you can't find the right chord. But I promise you, it's all right. Just like if we hear this phone ringing right now, I promise you, if you keep on going and you take that vacation, we will then remember to cut our phones on mute and on record. Now I'm messing with you. But for real, the reality is we need to take time for ourselves. Take time, and you're never going to get the time, but make the time, because your health is important. So those are just a few points that I would share from my do's list.
Family, I know that you're enjoying this video. I want to say thank you for watching this video. But if you can, ministry is free, but it's just expensive to get it out. I need you to connect with Aosinspires. I need you to sow into our ministry. Listen, we're traveling all over the states. We're traveling all over the 757, bringing you quality videos each and every week. It's not cheap, and it takes resources. That's why I need your connection. If you want to sow through Cash App, it's Aosinspires. If you want to sow through PayPal, it's Aosinspires. I promise you, with your seed, it's going to help reach the masses and also reach somebody that's never heard about Jesus Christ, down or feeling depressed. with your seed, you're going to help us reach that person so that we can lift them up and fulfill our mission. That's to empower the world to never give up. And I want to say thank you for sowing into good ground.
These are the don'ts. Number one, do not jeopardize your brand with momentary situations, meaning if it's something that's going on and something you don't like, or somebody hurt you, or somebody did you wrong and they were guilty of it, let's not for that moment get in our feelings and express it to the world and share it on social media and tell our friends and our loved ones, and it just messes things up. Consider your brand, because your brand, your name is all you have. You are very integral, and you don't want to breach that in the infancy of our musical career. So just consider your brand and all you think. Don't jeopardize it trying to lay somebody else, trying to get even. Listen, the Lord, vengeance is mine, with the words that, woo, I felt something. No, I really didn't, but I'm gonna say it again. All right, point two. Do not mix your personal business with your working business, meaning self-explanatory. I heard an old man say, you can't eat where you're crapping at, meaning you got to be mindful of what you do in every aspect, not just in relationships with the opposite sex, but in just business. Be mindful. So what that is your dad or your uncle or your pastor being your leader, at certain times you got to draw a line and say, hey, I know I am your son or your nephew, but we're in business right now. Right now, I'm your organist, I'm your musical director. So I need for you to, try to handle business, but do it respectful, do it tactful. Point three. Do not over-obligate or over-commit yourself. As musicians, we trying to make a living. We don't have the skill or the ability most times to work a full-time job and do this successfully. I know a lot of people that do it, but the majority of us, we do this full-time. And when we do it, we try to get every job, every gig, not considering traffic, technical malfunctions, or accidents, anything. You could get arrested, but you just want to consider, try not to, give yourself some leeway. Try not to do 30 engagements in one day. I'm not going to call Dominic Wright's name out, but Dominic Wright is, I'll mess with you. But seriously, try to really consider limiting what you do. Don't overbook yourself. Make sure you schedule yourself out. Get a schedule. It works. They got them in all phones. Number four, do not break the code. Respect the brotherhood, meaning, if you had an engagement and somebody is playing, or you don't even have to know them, they just playing there, and then you hit somebody, hit you one of these conversations, hey man, I would love to have you, man, I've been watching you for years, man, what I got to do to get you here? I've heard it all the times. I've been places with my pastor, and I've had people try to get me to come to their church while my pastor is right there. Let's not break the code. As musicians, we got to build this bond, we got to build this brotherhood, keep it strong. Don't let anything come against it. If handle business, no, I ain't gonna mess with this because this is my friend's church. I'm not gonna disrespect the brotherhood. Now, if they leave, another conversation. Point five, do not allow others to guilt trip you into anything. Meaning, if relationship, friendship, don't let them say, man, I did this for you, so you owe it to me to do this. Or they say, you ought to give your service to the Lord because he gave you the gift anyway. The devil is a liar. You make sure you handle business, and if you need to create some type of paper trail, whether it's doing a text message, doing a contract, doing whatever it is, so that you can have a binding document showing that this is what we agreed upon, these were the terms, and this is what did not happen. So let's not allow nobody to guilt trip you. Don't care who it is, because they're gonna try it. Man, my car broke down. I wish I had the money, but man, wish I coulda. Don't live here. Wish I coulda. Don't pay these bills. So don't let nobody guilt trip you into anything. Number six, do not become overly cocky or arrogant. Meaning, yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're doing your thing. Yeah, you killing the game, and yeah, the Lord is opening doors for you. But remember where you come from. Remember that the same person that you looked up to playing is now looking up to you, and you don't want to give off any bad things that causes them to have bad character traits. Meaning, be that example. You're not that good. There's always somebody better. Regardless of how good you are, there's somebody in the shadows waiting to come in and take all that you think you are and just put it all aside. So consider, everybody got a level of cockiness or arrogance. I think I'm pretty good. Excuse me, touch the microphone. But I think I dress pretty well. But consider your level. Let's not be overzealous in it. Point seven. I shouldn't have to say this, but got to say it anyway. Do not steal or take anything that's not yours. You know, sometimes people get a little finger happy. They know it's not theirs. They know they go to a church and the Lord has blessed that church to have several instruments or chords or aux cables or drumsticks or foot pedals or whatever the case may be. And we forget that it's not ours and we take it with us. We can't do that, musicians. I know a lot of musicians that's playing right now on stolen equipment. I ain't gonna call you out, but let's be mindful that one day it ain't gonna be a good day. So let's not do that, y'all. And even if you need to borrow, ask for it. If you can't afford it, ask for it. Just wait for the Lord to give it to you. Number 8, do not limit yourselves musically. Meaning, I am a church musician. I don't do clubs, I don't do bars, I don't do a lot of things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if this is your livelihood, this is your livelihood. But at the end of the day, I know what I do well. I know my comfort zone. However, you know, I don't want to play a Shirley Caesar song if I want to sing to my wife on our anniversary. Neither do I want to play shout music if my baby is getting ready to go for surgery. You know, it's okay to learn a Stevie Wonder. It's okay to learn another song that's going to help us be better musicians. So let's strengthen our ability. Don't limit yourself to what you are comfortable with. Step out of your comfort zone and make strides to do more. Number 9, do not publicly expose your former employers regardless of who's at fault. My gracious, I've seen so many people that has legitimate reasons of why they were terminated, why they was fired, why they left, or whatever the case may be, and instead of being professional in it and just say, Lord, you know, you will repay, vengeance is yours, I'm just going to charge it to the game. Nope. We take it to social media, we take it to our friends, we begin to do, as they say, throw shade and all these things, but we're forgetting that, hey, at the end of the day, we got a brand to upkeep. We got a brand to uphold, and what profits us to expose them in it wrong? If the Lord knows, it doesn't matter what anybody else knows. And you know, I smell bacon in here, but y'all pray for me, and these lights are anointed by God. Anyway, last point, number 10. Do not disrespect or downplay band members in front of each other. Meaning, you know, you all been in situations where you had musicians that you can tell they didn't practice the music, or they fumbling, or they just can't get that beat, because you know, if they put the time in, they will get it. We instantly snap off. Man, why you ain't practice? Man, why you ain't learn that music? Man, I gave it to you months ago. You ain't got it? Hey, life happens. We're not making excuses for them, but it's always a way to correct them. Pull them to the side, bring them to the office, meet them at the parking lot to say, hey man, we got to tighten up. We can't keep dropping the ball like this. So what are you saying, Devon, Mickey? I'm just saying, these are my little, nuggets that I've learned over my 27 years of playing that prayerfully will help you. So just consider that.